Hello, everyone. How's it going? It is me, Victoria Baxter of the Saved and Single Ministry and also of New Thing Life Coaching. If you are tuning in for the first time, I'm a certified life and dating coach, and I'm also a certified relationship coach, self proclaimed love strategist. And I say that only because I'm just all about really helping women when it comes to love, self love. God's love, and in order to actually get to romance, that true lasting love that a lot of people want. I know it's been a while since I've done the Sassy Saturday Special. Holidays, a lot of different things going on, but nevertheless, here we are hopping right back on in it as I always do. And again, this is just my way of speaking on something, that I see and hear from different women, whether social media, conversations, coaching sessions, or just something that I think will bless and benefit someone or some people to some degree or capacity. And people always get on me and say I'm a little bit sassy, so here we are. This is that tape where it's not an actual coaching session where I have someone who I know that they might be sensitive to something. This way I can give a general little sassified message and just kind of let that be that. What I wanted to speak on, I've been posting a little bit more and more about grace and offering grace to men, because what I realize from some of the things that I hear from single women, and especially single Christian women, it's a little bit disheartening that we don't offer grace like at all. And let's just be completely honest. I've shared a lot of my story, my horror stories, my past and things when it comes to, sex, men, dating, the whole nine. And I was I'll joke and say, thoughting and bopping and doing whatever else the case might be. I know a lot of you are in the same boat, whether you have a past or some things you're still engaging in. And I think what happens a lot of times is once we finally get to a place of saying, okay, I know my worth, I'm not settling for foolishness anymore, I'm changing, whether it's, saying eliminating sex altogether or just eliminating casual sex or no longer, giving chances to people and dating by faith. That's all cool. However, I feel like with many of us, we get to a place of being a little bit self righteous. It's like we get to that point, and now it's like we want someone to, wine and dine and prove themselves. And we have this long list of all these requirements that men have to meet. And it's pretty much all because of the fact that there are some things that we tolerated in the past. There are some things that we allowed in the past. And now, because we're really just mad at ourselves and we haven't forgiven ourselves for the things that we participated in, now going forward, it's like we want all men to pay for the other men's mistake, but really it's not even paying for the other men's mistakes. It's really, again, we're mad at ourselves. So now we're making other men pay, not because of what other men did, but because of what we allowed. So we like to do the little blame game and we try to shift, responsibility and shift blame onto other men. And now it's like, nope, he got to come correct. I'm not building no man. I'm not waiting on no man. A man who doesn't do this, gone. A man who doesn't fit this, gone. A man who doesn't have this, gone. If he doesn't, communicate with me, the way I want to be communicated. If he doesn't, first date do this, and if he doesn't, communicate, like whatever, when it comes to phone calls and texting, and if he says this and what, like we do the absolute most. Like chill the heck out for real, because it is why many of us are still single. It is why a lot of women are sitting here, waiting for that perfect man, and you're going to be waiting for a while, and you might be thinking, hey, I don't mind being single, I'm not going to settle, whatever. A lot of that is lies. And it's like, yeah, it sounds good when you profess things on social media and you have certain conversations, but God is examining your heart. He knows what it is that you really want. He knows what it is you really desire. But at this point, you're worried about how other people are going to react to who it is that you might, actually date or give a chance to. And I say that loosely. I'm not saying settle. I'm not saying date down. I'm not saying give chances to every Tom, Dick, and Harry. But what I do need women to understand is that grace was given to us when we were out in these streets being a whole hot mess out there, that God extended grace to us. And it's understanding that it takes a certain level of grace to be a wife. So if you're already going into something being hell bent that it has to be your way and it has to come this way, and he better come with this and don't come with this and whatever else, you are showing now you're not really ready to be a wife if you truly think about it. Like I said, it takes a certain level of grace to be a wife. You can have the greatest man, but it's going to be something that you're not going to like. And again, I'm not, whether it's, money or whatever, the job or something like that, communication skills, I don't know. But a lot of us are letting these superficial things really get in the way of our happily ever after. I did a message, but maybe a couple of months ago saying, stop running from your husband, from your future husband, because a lot like with these lists and whatever else, like, and it's a certain man or even a certain kind of man that God is intentionally putting in your path, and wanting you to actually cross paths with, because God is like, hey, do you not see that this is what I have for you? But all because you're determined to tell me how to bless you, and you're determined to tell me the kind of man that you need and the kind of man you want. Like, that's why you're still single. But you can already have the life that you want if you would learn to extend grace. I love reading about the Apostle Paul in the Bible because, of course, we know that he was previously Saul, and he was persecuting Christians and having Christians killed in the whole nine. But look at grace. Like, he is the epitome of grace. Like, he went on to write the majority of the books in the New Testament, all because of grace, because grace was extended to him. And now he is able to talk about grace with other people. But the thing about the Apostle Paul is that there was a deficiency. He had a thorn. Nobody knows what the heck that thorn is. There are all of these different speculations on what it might be. We don't know, and I like that it's not mentioned, because now we can, make up different scenarios in our mind on what it might be, but it doesn't matter. But it does talk about how he 3 different times asked, please have this thing removed from me. And it was talking about how it was a tormentor sent from Satan, pretty like to torment him and whatever else, to make sure that he did not become too proud. A man who was known from going from one aspect to another, he went from one end to another, used greatly, wrote majority of the books in the New Testament. Like, he was given grace. But it's like, even so, just to make sure you don't get too proud, now I'm going to give you this thorn, this thing that you're going to have to deal with, because I want to make sure you don't become too proud. And some of us don't even realize that our husband, they're going to have a thorn. There's going to be a thorn that he is going to have. But do you have enough grace to fill the gap between his deficiency and your desire? Do you have enough grace to fill the gap between his deficiency and your desire? It is something, I cannot stress this enough, and I always talk about it, but the Bible is very clear that the woman was created for the man, not the man for the woman. It is something your husband is going to need that only you can help with. We are created to be the helpmate. We are the Ezer Kenegdo. Like, it's something that our husbands will need that only we can help with. There is going to be a thorn. There is going to be a deficiency. And a lot of you are waiting for this ready-made man and thinking that he's going to come with no issues, no flaws, no nothing, perfect credit, perfect bank account, perfect teeth, perfect height, perfect size. He is going to know exactly what your love language is. He is going to know it's you from the moment like, yeah, that sounds cute, but let's cut the crap. It's not realistic. It's not going to happen. You cannot say that you want marriage God's way, but you're not even reading about all the different marriages and relationships in the Bible and how God brought those things together. You need to study to find out what marriage is actually all about. You need to make sure you are aware of the roles of a wife and not, just knowing what the roles of a husband are, because I've always found it fascinating that most of the scriptures in the Bible, like a lot of things are written to women. I don't know why. I know we get offended when we talk about, women being the weaker vessel, but truth be told, like, that's just what the heck it is. And a lot of time, I don't know, maybe like Satan, he went to the woman first, and he went, and that was, the temptation and everything came in. I don't know, maybe it's like God knows something obviously that we don't, but he knows that we're going to be the ones needing a little bit more instructions. Like, it was crazy when I was actually, reading and comparing, trying to see how many scriptures are instructions for men, how many are instructions for women, how many are actually written, for husbands, how many are written for wives. There are more for us. And it's time for us to really see what God is showing us. Like, it is talking about, how we can help our husbands, how we can win them over, and, submitting and respect. And yeah, they have a job too, but there are more things for us. And I think that really, it's crazy, and especially at a time where we are right now, because the things that women are saying and speaking and desiring and whatever else, it does not go along with the kind of marriage you're saying you're wanting to have. You can have your desires, sure, but again, are you willing to fill the gap with grace between his deficiency and your desire? examine your desires and see, like, why are they there? Is it because of what, Raekwon did? Is it because, Peanut, did whatever? Is it because your baby daddy, your ex, or whatever else? Is it because you gave up so much to men that weren't deserving, so now you want to make, other people pay? Are you saying, well, I mean, I'll be single before I settle and whatever else, when you know that you were called to be a wife? When you know that that desire is really on you now, when you know that it is actually God that gave you that desire, but you're prolonging the process all because of the superficial things that you are wanting, have grace. Have grace for whatever. Your husband is going to have a desire, but he's going to have some type of deficiency. He is going to be perfect for you in so many different ways. He may have it all, but there's going to be that one thing. Are you willing and able to look past that one thing, whatever it might be? Maybe he has something that he hasn't healed from yet. Maybe it's something that you're going to need to help him with. Maybe mental health. Maybe helping him get that business off the ground. Maybe a crazy ex-wife, maybe like with the child, that he hasn't seen because he doesn't know, how to navigate a system that truly is biased and set up for women. Maybe it's like he's trying to figure some things out. Maybe he has the money, but he's living, I don't know, in some type of crazy place, but like he doesn't know how to navigate something. Maybe he wants to go back to school, but he doesn't know where to start. I don't know. Offer the grace that has been extended to you, because a lot of us, there are things that we didn't have. A lot of us didn't have our daddies. I've spoken before. 95% of my clients have daddy issues. They're also dealing with some type of fear of abandonment because of their daddy, either, not being there or leaving or whatever else the case might be. So there are a lot of things that now we are now realizing why we have a lot of these issues, why we have been going through different things. We had to figure it out. Men, let's be real, they're not always that smart. It's not an insult, but they're not always that smart. I had one guy who, I spoke to maybe sometime last month, or I mean last year or whatever. And it was interesting because what he had actually mentioned to me, we were talking, he was asking me if I would, be his life coach, because he had some things that he was, wanting to work on, but I was telling him, probably not. Sorry, my chair is always falling down. Y'all are used to this by now. But I was telling him, probably not, like, conflict interest, whatever the case might be, because he and I, we do have history or whatever. We've, with somebody, I dated in the past and the whole nine. But I was like, why do you think that you need a life coach? Why would you, whatever. And what he was explaining, he was just like, men, he's like, it's hard. He was like, we're not really brought up a lot of, especially black men. Excuse me. He's like, we're not always, told and brought up that we can express our feelings. A lot of things, like, we get told and taught, and yeah, down the line, we might not necessarily agree with it as we start processing and realizing some of these things that we've been taught and why, but it's like, it's been ingrained in us. And he was like, and aside from that, he's like, yeah, you can get with your boys and, we can talk about all these different things. He was like, but we can't talk about how we're really feeling. Certain things we can't ask for help. We can't mention, some of the things that we're desiring or struggling with. And he's like, I got a lot of things I need to figure out. He's like, and there are some things that I really do want to fix and change and rewire because of, things that my father and other men had actually told me in my family. So for him, he was just like, I want to work on those things. And I really want you to help me. And I was like, well, we can talk as a friend, but, as far as, being your coach, I know too much about him. And I just, didn't think that would be a smart avenue to actually take. But that was like a perfect example. With us, we got all these groups, we got, our friends, and we can be all, even if we're not, PMSing and hormonal, it's like we can still, we can cry and we can, admit our feelings, and yeah, therapy and friends and coworkers, and again, all of these groups for women all over Facebook, the whole nine, the conference. We got all of these things to help us where we are now and healing from the past. There's not a lot for men. And let's be real, and even though more things are coming up for men, so many men still have it in them, the things that they were told and taught. Man up, don't cry, suck it up, get over it, blah, 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 blah. So you still have some men who they're not willing to address, their mental health and, and their emotions and their feels. Like, they see these things and it's like, I want to go, I want to be a part. What if I'm the only man? Well, how's that going to make me look? What if somebody finds out I'm there? All of these different things that they deal with. And I say all that to say, just extend a little bit of grace. because you could very well be that woman that can help a man see something a completely different way. You might have a man who has been literally in chains and in bondage that he is just dying to break out of, but he doesn't know where to go. He doesn't know where to turn. He doesn't know who to open up to. And let me add something else before I go. Like me and a girl were talking about sometime last week, because more and more some men are wanting to open up. If you find yourself in the presence of a man who actually is willing to open up to you, shut your mouth. And what I mean by shut your mouth is don't ever throw it back up in his face. Don't ever use it against him. It's not something you bring up in an argument. It's not something, that you go run and tell your friends and everybody else and whatever else the case might be. It takes a lot for a man to open up, especially to a woman. We really do underestimate that. They already don't really want to open up to other men. But if you have a man who is willing to open up to you, he trusts you. Like, it is something about you. It's not saying that that's your husband or nothing like that, could be, but he trusts you. So we got to learn to shut up and don't use that as ammunition, later on down the line. When I tell you, Holy Spirit checked me on that so bad a couple of weeks ago, child, nobody can make me cry like good old JC, Jesus Christ. Like, he will, like, just, coming with the gut punches or whatever, certain things. But I went through that very same thing, when somebody, he mentioned some things to me, and I was just, kind of mentioning some things back to him, not in a, accusatory, not negative, ugly, whatever. But anyway, I'll just leave that alone. We got to learn to allow men to, like, just be that safe space again, because certain things you have been given a certain level of grace, and there are certain things that God allowed you to go through because you're going to have to help your future husband. And again, he may have been in chains his entire life, and you're the one to help him get out. We can't say that we're ready to be a good wife, but we're all stubborn and self-righteous and whatever else now, because no, I already went through my healing. He better go through his too. I need him to come perfect, ready-made. Shut up. Like, no, we're not doing that. Have grace. Have grace, because like I said, he could have it all. He could be perfect for you in so many different ways. Like, whatever it is that you're wanting right now, that you're thinking you have to have it all together before you get married, that could be that one thing that you're working on right now, whether it's your finances, whether it's, buying a house, the money to start that business, going back to school, the weight loss, I don't know, whatever the heck it is that you're, counting yourself out as far as actually being ready. You could have a man who can come and be the person who's supposed to help you with that very same thing. And it might just be one small thing that you have to help him with. Like, a lot of you are getting in your own way. Like, seriously, you're getting in your own way. And that thorn is like, just help a brother out, okay? Because you have a thorn like Paul also. Like, you're not perfect. I don't care what work you've done. I don't care how far you've come. I don't care what it is you no longer do and what you no longer participate in. Kudos, congratulations, girl. Like, let's talk about it over some hot tea. But at the end of it, like, you're still not perfect. There are still some things that, yeah, even like it is going to nag the hell out of a man when it comes to you, but he's going to be willing to look past it because of his love for you. Are you willing to extend and offer the same grace? Grace like Paul. Just be willing to extend a little bit more grace and help that man cover or remove that thorn that is present in his life. That's my little rant for the day. God bless you all. Happy Saturday. Don't forget to connect with me. I don't know where you're watching this video, but there are other places you can connect with me. Instagram saved underscore and, either the letter N or the word and underscore single. I don't remember. It'll be at the end of the video. The YouTube channel, Saved and Single. The website, www.thejalministry.com/saved-single. Subscribe. Stay connected to, classes and freebies and just, random things that I send to my ladies that are part of the Sash Tribe. Also, Facebook. There's a private group on Facebook, the Sash Tribe, for us to, talk and for me to, just share and whatever else the case might be. Facebook page, Saved and Single -Sass. There are so many different ways to connect. Stay connected, because why not? God bless. Have a good one, and I'll talk to you all later. Bye-bye.